Once a year, we go on these like hunting expeditions up rivers. And there's this family of brothers. JJ has like 17 brothers, hunting and fishing, and we're just like surviving off the land, going up the thing, and then we started catching the anacondas basking on the sides of the river. And so we just started jumping on these snakes, grabbing them by the neck. The first one I did, I fucked up though. The first anaconda I ever caught. They were gonna come in from the bottom, I was gonna come in from the top. I ran in and I grabbed the snake by the head, and she went whoosh and wrapped my hands. The next coil came over my shoulder, and I could feel my ribs just about to go. 3 of my friends jumped on. They started untying it from the tail and everything like that, but I came that close. That one is 18 feet 6 inches.
That's so big. That's so big.
This is the largest scientifically wild-caught verified anaconda that we have. I've seen bigger ones. We named her Eleanor after my grandmother.
That's the 18-foot one.
This is the 18 feet 6 inches. She was 220 pounds, but she was hungry. She was...
Look at the size of that thing.
The one that got a hold of me was 5 feet shorter than this one. This thing is a dragon. This thing is a kraken. There's no way.
How big do they get?
Okay, so here's my measurement. Me and JJ were out on this place called the Floating Forest one night, and we had gone deeper down the Amazon rabbit hole than like anyone had ever gone. We found this place, the Floating Forest, where you're walking on rafts of floating grass. You're walking past treetops. So there's a forest underneath the lake, but you're walking on the surface of it. And the anacondas love it because they can sit on these grassy islands, and if anything comes, the whole thing is like a giant tympanic membrane. As soon as something takes a step, they're like threat, and they go down. And just like any big fish, just like any ancient giant crocodile, those shrewd old motherfuckers that have been there for a century, that's where they live. And so we were out there like 2 o'clock in the morning, and we're walking on these grassy rafts, and JJ's going, "This is anaconda." And I went, "That is not anaconda," because the grass was pushed down, but it was this big. And I was like, this can't be anaconda. He's like, "This is." He goes, "If it was a crocodile," he goes, "you'd see the feet." And I was like, it just can't be. And then at like middle of the night on top of a lake, and we see 2 anacondas. One of them is so big that I would say it was probably 24, 25 feet. Gigantic. That was an 18-footer. Then there was like another like a 16-footer on it. And my first response was, we have to catch this snake. And so I jumped on it. I jumped on the snake, and as I'm holding it, the one measurement I have is that I was holding onto the snake and my fingers couldn't touch. That's how big this thing was.
What? Oh my God. Oh my God. Your fingers couldn't touch.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so big.
It's so fucking big. It dragged me to the edge of the grass. This thing could have turned around and just eaten me. Her head was like bigger than a Rottweiler. It's bigger than Marshall's.
Oh my God.
But she dove into the water. Her idea is just escape, stay alive. So she goes down. My face poked into the water, and I was like, fuck that. You looked straight down into hell down there. And I was sitting there holding onto the grass with this giant anaconda rushing by me. 25 feet of anaconda slithering past me, and I put my hand on her. And as she went by, my hand eventually went, and then her tail slipped by me, and I was just alone in the dark in the Amazon, and I'd just seen this dragon. And then I turned around and went, what the fuck happened to JJ? And JJ's just standing there, and he turned completely white, and his circuits were blown. He was like, and I was like, you could have helped. I was like, you could have helped, man.
During World War II, when the Japanese were holding Ramri Island in Burma, Myanmar, the Allies came in and started making the Japanese retreat. In the course of like 2 days, 1,000 Japanese soldiers were eaten by crocodiles.
What?
Yeah, when the Allies pushed all the Japanese back into the swamps, they started screaming, and one scream would trigger all the crocodiles to get into a frenzy, and it just wiped out this entire populace of people that ran through the swamp. So we went and retraced these steps to figure it out. Why did this happen? And while we were there, this kid got attacked by a crocodile that was 100 years old. So probably the same animal that had eaten people during World War I. We saved this kid's life. Like, we got to the village and he had just been pulled out from this croc attack. His arm was broken in like 25 places. He was torn up. He had lacerations all over his leg, his ankle, his arm. And
how'd you get him out of the crocodile's mouth?
We didn't. He fought off the crocodile, basically. And then the buddy he was with fishing pulled him into the boat and got him back to the village.
What a savage that kid is. He
Totally.
fought off a fucking crocodile?
And a big one.
How did he do it?
We were so focused on saving the kid because myself and one other guy had medical training, so we were stopping the bleeding and bandaging him up. And we had the only speedboat because we had to get to this island, and this is very, very remote. So we got this kid on the speedboat and got him back to a hospital, and he lived. I think he lost the arm. He was just going to bleed out and die right there in the village.
100-year-old crocodile. That probably was one of the crocodiles that ate the Japanese people.
During the massive Ramri massacre. Yeah.
I mean, as a human, you gotta be pretty stupid to get eaten by an anaconda. You gotta be doing something really stupid. You know not to go up to your chest in certain swamps.
I'm just feeling walking around knowing there's giant snakes around being up to your chest in water.
Forget the giant snakes. When you fall into that nightmare soup at 2 a.m. and you get that black water on you and there's things going up your pants. There are insects in the water. There are tarantulas walking on the water, eating the frogs. It's like you are in a festival of sex and death. Like when we go in there to do research, we're like looking at frogs and shit. We put our socks over our pants because otherwise shit gets up there. One girl got bitten like 16 times by this giant aquatic water spider thing. Went up her leg, just going like Morse coding her, just like just like pumping venom into her.
How bad she get fucked up?
Emotionally, I think it was worse than the pain because the pain gave her some Benadryl and she like slept it off. But like she was just like, God, it was so horrible. She was like, I was like slapping my leg trying to get this thing to stop biting me, and it was just getting more scared, so it was biting her more. You don't even know what it is. It could be a new species. People say, oh, like a bullet ant is the most painful insect bite. Dude, I've been bitten by bullet ants like 8 times. They hurt, but I found a caterpillar. I had it on a leaf and I was trying to put it in a terrarium and the leaf bent under the thing. It was like yellow. It kind of looked like Trump's hair. Fell on my hand and I was plunged into immediate electroshock pain waves. Way worse than a bullet ant. Whatever this caterpillar did to me fucked me up for days.